Hi everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to the sunny side. I'm Sunny, and today I'm going to rank the top most forgiving signs of the zodiac. Alright, now, I'd love to take credit for this list, right? But it was actually recommended by one of our sunny siders here, one of our regular subscribers and regular commenters, Jeanette Matthews. And I thought it was a good idea for a list, so here we go. Alright, first things first. If you'd like to skip the blah blah and head directly to the list, I put timestamps in the description box below. So go ahead and speed ahead if you like, and I'll catch up with you later in the video. Alright, next, as always, right, the lists are based in astrology, of course, but some of it's still subjective, especially this one. So if you have your own lists or questions or comments or whatever, then feel free to leave them in the comments section below, and I'll do my best to read out the best ones on the weekly Love Horoscopes video that come out every Thursday right here on the channel. Alright, that's the action. Everybody cool? Alright, let's begin. Alright, first, what's forgiving? I don't know, man. Good question. Alright, these are the guys that, let's say you're hanging out, right? And then things somehow or for some reason, you cross the line and things go sideways. No big deal. Everyone makes mistakes, right? But there are a lot of signs that just won't let it go. Even the little things, right? But these guys, well, for the most part, unless you really screw up, they're going to let it slide. Because generally, the guys on this list, they know there's more to life than putting you in your place or placing blame. And they also know that no one's perfect and we all step sideways from time to time. Now, having said that, they do have boundaries, right? And limits. So I wouldn't push your luck. But if they're into you, then generally, by and large, they'll probably forgive some of your gaffes. Alright, now's the action. Everybody got it? Here we go. Place your bets, everyone. Do. Okay, first up, number 5. On our list today is a grumpy earth sign. That's a lot more caring and fun than they're given credit for. Yes, that could be almost any earth sign. I know. And these guys, they're not known as complainers, right? But on the other hand, they're not exactly warm either. And that is number 5, Capricorn. Oh yeah, seriously. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, alright? Here's the astrology into it. Capricorn's ruled by Saturn, so at first glance, you might not expect them to be forgiving. But it's just a false misconception. Saturn, right? Saturn takes things away. Alright? Saturn takes things away. And is disciplined and focused. For guys who are big concentrating in their chart, or like some big thinkers, not like the super brainers, but like sometimes there's usually some kind of Saturn aspect to Mercury, and that's focused concentration. Just letting you guys know, whatever. Anyways, Saturn means it wants peace and it wants order, alright? Mars is the planet of war, and Uranus is the planet of chaos. Saturn is the planet of discipline, control, and focus. And some astrologers call it the planet of karma. So do good to a Capricorn, and good things will happen to you. Yes, we all know that Capricorns can be grumpy workaholics, right? But so what? It doesn't mean that they're going to hold a grudge. And there's no astrological evidence suggesting that they would. But don't take my word for it. Like, seriously, why would you do it? Think about it for a second. What does Capricorn want more than anything else? I know. You're thinking trophy wives. Well, yes and no. Sure, Capricorn wants to succeed professionally, but they're actually part of the nurturing axis, right? It goes like this. So more than anything else, Capricorn actually wants to take care of you. And they understand that not everyone's perfect, and they kind of accept it. No, they don't accept lazy or sloppy, and they do prefer the best of the best. But they also know that even the best makes mistakes at times. And they're more than willing to forgive simple gaffes if it means staying focused on target. And like this one really isn't that complicated. Ruled by Saturn means discipline, not disruption. Number 5, most forgiving sign, Capricorn. That was easy. Okay, next. Number 4 on today's list is a straight shooting fire sign. They like jokes, personal freedom, and wild kinky sex outdoors. And this one should be easy. Number 4, Sagittarius. Yup. Okay, well first, Sagittarius tells it like it is. So if you mess up, then they'll probably be very quick to let you know. But these guys, along with most of the other signs on the list today, just want to keep the action going. So they're not going to hold a grudge. No, Sagittarius is definitely not going to let you walk all over them. And they will put you in your place very fast. But Sag is a fun-loving sign. And they don't like to drag anything out. You see, because like dragging things out, right? That's like, it can feel tedious and it can feel controlling, even controlling yourself by things you have to do. And it's simply the opposite of what Sagittarius is into. Seriously. All right, what else? Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, which is pretty much the party planet, right? And well, at parties, things get broken. Sag knows this, and for the most part, they're cool with it. Just don't put your luck, right? Sagittarius doesn't hold a grudge, but they're also very quick to hit the freak. So be careful, especially when the action begins to slip sideways. Number 4, most forgiving sign, Sagittarius. All right, next. This list is actually pretty easy. But before we get to the top 3, let's have some honorable mentions here. All right, how about Aquarius and Pisces? Ooh, that's a good question. Good question, Sonny. What's up with those guys? All right, here's the deal. Aquarius is definitely into togetherness, and they are definitely into harmony. But unfortunately, it's harmony on their terms, right? Aquarius is a fixed sign. So if you step sideways, it's not a big deal. But if you want back in, then you're going to have to fall in line. And Aquarius is actually ruled by Uranus, which is the planet of disruption. And Aquarius is a control freak sign, just letting you know, they're control freaks. So once again, if you want back in, in the world of Aquarius, you're going to have to fall back in line. A similar thing holds true for Pisces. It might seem like Pisces is forgiving you, but once they swim away, Pisces is usually gone. It's not like they're holding a grudge or anything, but Pisces isn't exactly forgiving either. So, sorry guys, no Aquarius, no Pisces today. All right, let's get back to the list. Next up, number 3 on our list today is a sexy water sign. But aren't they all? Okay. What's that? Okay. Is a sexy water sign that clings to almost everything. They laugh. They cry. They'll poison you at dinner and ask if you still love them. And if you know what's good for you, then you will always say yes, or mourning will not be an option. And that's number 3, Cancer. Now, we all know Cancer is emotional, and crimes of passion aren't entirely off the list. But premeditated stuff usually is. Because premeditated stuff is usually, that's a sign of unforgiving, grudge-holding action. Now, this shouldn't really be that difficult, seriously. Unlike the other signs on the list today, Cancer isn't really a let's just forgive kind of sign. They're not really a keep the peace and move on kind of sign, And here's where things get interesting. Cancer is a little different than the other guys. If you make a mistake or step sideways, Cancer doesn't usually hit the freak. They actually sulk, and they often, very often, blame themselves, even if it's your fault, seriously. So, if you step sideways by accident with a Cancer, then you better say you're sorry very quickly, or you better never do it again. Or your sexy little, you should never do it again. Your sexy little crab is trusting, and she has very real feelings that get very hurt very easily, okay? But there's a little more. Cancer's the crab, right? She moves sideways. Yo, Sonny, what's up? Okay? Of course, she moves sideways, yeah, of course. And I make fun of it all the time. But she also holds on to things and doesn't let go. For Cancer, getting involved with someone is a very big deal. It's a major emotional investment, and it really hurts to let go. So, even if you totally mess up, there's a strong chance that she's going to forgive and move on. Just know that whatever you did, however you messed up, you should never ever do it again, or you're probably not going to get a second chance to do it to her or anyone else either, except maybe in spirit form. Just saying. Woo! Number 3, Cancer. All right, speeding along. Number 2 on our list today is an air sign. And although I joke about them a lot, like a lot, they're actually one of my favorite signs, and they know it as well. And some people, just to let you know, some of the people that I've cared about most are born under this sign. And although they're beautiful, social, smart, and a bit kinky by nature, the reasons I've always been able to maintain my friendship with them is primarily because they forgive me when I screw up. And that's number 2, Libra. Seriously, this one is easy. Okay, now check this. Here's how it goes down. Libra screws up a lot too, right? And it's not even debatable. Libras flake. They lie. They go behind your back. And they'll flat out be mean when opportunity presents itself. And in return, when that happens to me, let's say, I completely hit the freak, which, and like totally, which isn't really a bad thing, you don't want to let people walk over you and get away with bad behavior, except that I'm a double Scorpio, and my freaks way outweigh, by far and away, are way over the top, way beyond anything they deserve. But at the end of the day, we're still friends. And, we're high-performance people, right? And, there really aren't that many of us around, and we both know it. And even though she's wrong, okay, and definitely deserves some of my criticism, no one deserves it to the extent that I dole out. Let's just say. And Libra, well, she always forgives me. I'm not taking it for granted, but she always forgives me. What else? Okay. Libra is ruled by Venus, which is the planet of love and attraction and harmony. Libra just wants everyone to get along, and she subjugates herself for it to happen. And personally, I don't really think it's cool to hold back because others can't keep up or keep their shiz together. Just saying. Just saying. That's not my thing, but it's definitely Libra's thing. Now, I appreciate my Libra friends a lot more than I let on most of the time, and she knows it. So, again, she's no pushover, but she's sexy, talented, and simply one of the best. And she always forgives me for losing my cool. Number 2, most forgiving sign, Libra. Seriously. All right, check this out. Libras go with the flow energy, right? They're one of the quickest signs to make peace. So, who then is number 1? That's a good question. All right, number 1 on today's list is peaceful, calm, strong internally and out. They like holding hands and late night dessert by the beach. They can be stubborn, and they're definitely possessive, sometimes a little greedy, just saying. But they also simply want, they just want everyone to get along. And that's Scorpio. Seriously, you guys nuts? Scorpio's like the least forgiving sign. It's hard. They're hardwired mental. Alright, whatever. Okay. Alright, whatever. Okay, you guys ready? Number 1 on our list today, most forgiving sign is Little Miss Muscles, Taurus. Oh yeah. Well, think about it for a second, alright? First, Taurus is one of our most peaceful signs. So they definitely want what they want. And again, Taurus can be a little greedy about it. And they're definitely possessive, right? But they're not even remotely pushovers. But they still want a beautiful day for everyone. Now, like Libra, Taurus is also ruled by Venus. And these guys, or rather, people with a strong Venus energy in their chart, tend to be forgiving. Generally they're loving and peaceful. And above all, they just want everyone to get along. And they're willing to forgive to keep the peace. Personally, I think it's beautiful and commendable. It's a beautiful and commendable way to live. Now, okay, so here's the question. Now, if both Libra and Taurus are ruled by Venus, and they both want harmony, and they both want everyone to get along, and they're both willing to let things slide to keep the peace, then why does Taurus outrank Libra today? That's a good question, Sonny. Anyways, The answer is obvious, you know, but you gotta take a moment to think it through and suss it out. Everybody ready? Taurus outranks Libra because guys with a lot of ego, because Libra, simply, they pick fights, okay? Straight up. They're just passive aggressive about it, you know? And so it seems like the other person is starting it, right? But it's actually Libra that's causing the fuss. And I think we already know this already, okay? So with that, our number one most forgiving sign of the zodiac, our sexy little bull, Taurus. And that's the action, guys. It's the most forgiving signs of the zodiac. You're not necessarily the most peaceful. Sagittarius isn't a peaceful sign. You know, Capricorn can be a real dick at times. But it's the most forgiving. Anyways, that's the action. Thanks for hanging out, guys, and spending some time on the channel. I really, you know, it's nice to hang out with you guys. I love making these lists for you. And just to let you know, with a closer look at these, you know, I like making the lists, and I like having a closer look at the zodiac signs, and as I'm doing it, and some of their characteristics. And as a result, I'm learning quite a bit as we go along as well. Anyways, if you liked the video, then please give it a thumbs up. Maybe share it with your friends on Facebook, and even subscribe to the channel. Every little bit helps, and I appreciate all the support. And with that, from thesunnyside.net, I'm Sunny, wishing everyone the absolute best of a beautiful day, and reminding everyone, you don't have to forgive anyone for anything, ever. You know? And if you want to go it alone, by all means, good luck, my man. Have fun on your journey. But, personally, I still believe that together, it's a beautiful day. And that's the action. Sending love around the world, everyone. And I'll see you soon.